Hello everyone and welcome back to the Pax Legacy Save. This time I'm remodeling the Streamlet single house in Willow Creek into a soft countryside home inspired by this Pinterest reference picture with lots of greenery and vibrant colors, a slightly overgrown feel, just like you would find in a grandparent's home because they usually keep their potted plants very healthy, but they need some help with the lawn. So that's kind of the vibe that I'm going for. It's just a very old lived in house for a grandma and her three kittens. So that is what we're doing today. I started by changing the structure of the house. I really wanted it to have a little bit more dimension, and I definitely wanted it to look more like the house in the picture, which has this beautiful elongated porch at the front of the house. I also needed to find some stairs that match the flooring better. Matching the foundation and the platform that I used in the front porch. I'm so annoyed. I find it really hard to do these voiceovers. Like I really don't know how to explain what's on the screen. And it holds me back so much. Like this video has been ready for days and I don't know what to say about it. So yeah, I changed the stairs and I left that little gap there because that's how it looks in the picture. I also wanted to use doors and windows from the same pack because I thought that they would look better. I couldn't find a green door similar to the one in the picture, but ended up using are from Discover University. They didn't have a lot of sizing options, but I could combine them better with the base game ones. It took some time, but I found the ones that I really needed. I went with shutters. And I also made like a little back porch. I left the window there for the bathroom. I will eventually change it because it was really complicated changing it, and it ended up not having a window at all. I also added some windows to the roof pieces at the front and changed the friezes for spandrels because they just look so much better for how small the house actually is. Like the front was just too small to have those massive friezes. So I use the landscaping that we already had in this house. I know that it matches a lot more the landscaping around in the environment. So I just used it in different sizes all over in that sort of way that I mentioned before. Like it just looks a little bit more unkept, right? Like the lawn hasn't been taken care of and the weeds and whatnot, but as you will see, landscaping carries most of the decoration of this entire house. Like it's pretty plain except for the amount of flowers that I'm going to be including later on. I wanted to blend in the edge of the lot with the environment, so I just added these flowers at least on this corner because the other side of the house will have some other things that were a little bit harder to kind of blend in, and you would imagine they would keep that side clean because they're using it much more than this side, than the right side. But I wanted it to have that kind of unkept. At the end, I ended up adding like a little back balcony. I think that I mentioned that also before. It's just more convenient. I tried using the window from the high school pack just in case, but no one is going to be using that window for the reasons that it would be normally used. This house is for a grandma and her three cats. Unless the cats can actually get out through that window, I don't see how that would be possible, that anybody will be using it. So later on I change it just because it's better for what I'm going to do on the inside. Now in the picture we can see that many of the plants are potted plants. That house doesn't have as much flowers and greenery outside, actually in the garden, but everything is just potted, and that is something that I had never really done before. I had never thought about it before, just using potted plants as the outside decoration. If we have so many big plants, usually it's kind of hard to find smaller plants to decorate inside because we have so many that are big. So it was good to be able to just use the most unconventional ones, like the ones that are like 3 or 4 potted plants at the same time. In the picture, I can see how there are different tables and just shelves to have more plants. So I used the planters, and I also included a shelf just to add more plants everywhere, because that's how kind of it looks in the picture. But at the same time, I can see a grandma just, at least here, I think it is very normal to see grandmas using anything and everything to have their plants in. Like, they will recycle all gallons, they will make tables out of everything they can find just to add more plants to it. So I really wanted to do that. These are going to be the functional houseplants. Unfortunately, they are not functional like this because they're not actually slotted on the shelf. I tried to make them functional, but it was impossible to make it work. And I decided to do the ground thing that has another name. I don't remember it right now, and if I open the game, I will be distracted. So I I decided to do it before. I know that many simmers will do this at the very end, because sometimes when you close the house and you come back, sometimes it does erase it, but I will forget it. I will eventually just forget it, and I will not do it as much as I want to. So I decided to do it then and there, and as far as I know, it did not delete it itself. So I found the stones this time without any trouble at all, and I added them there. Here's the thing, I don't think they're functional, because these cement slabs are not functional, and I found that out during testing because they look really nice and I wanted to have them, and my sim would not go up the stairs. She would continuously go through the back door, and as soon as I removed them, I thought that it was the plants, I thought that it was a door, I thought that it was anything behind the door, because you will see it is like a really tiny hall. No, it was the actual cement slab, so I had to remove them. So here I am struggling to make the layout of the house work with the bathroom there where I wanted it at first. I knew that the house would be a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom house, but I also didn't want to make the living room and kitchen so small that it wouldn't be functional or wouldn't have a lot of sense. There will be 3 cats in the house, so I imagined that they would need sort of like their own corner and space for their things. So I decided to just move the bathroom and to the very center of the house and leave it without a window eventually. Not right now. Right now it's staying there because I started working on the kitchen before I decided to finish the layout of the house, just because I really wanted to know, hey, does this actually work? And it took some time. You will see this is sped at 10 times speed, okay? It's at 10 times. Mi gente, yo hablo español. That's my native language, so I'm trying my hardest here. This is sped up ridiculously. This is sped up a ridiculous lot. I decided to just take a break and just finish the outside because I realized that we were missing some more landscaping to make it make sense at the back as well. You know, just taking a break from it. And here I fixed the sound of the game, so you will finally start hearing it. So I really struggled a lot to make the kitchen work, and here's where I changed the bathroom, and I decided, you know what, I'm giving up. Now, why was this happening? If anyone knows why that was happening with the window, I never found out. I had to alt place it and it wouldn't slot without disappearing or trying to slot to the like that roof piece. I don't know why that happened. And I don't even know if I'm going to upload this with this commentary because it's kind of all over the place, but it's the best that I can do right now because I've been watching this for a while and I cannot get the commentary with precision and beauty that I want to. This is the best that I can do right now. And maybe this will actually get me a community of people that sometimes they're just too, tired of doing everything so proper and being like, you know what, okay, this is what I'm actually gonna do. Yeah, I went back and I did the same thing that I did for the neighbor's house and just added some things on top of the cabinet. I couldn't get cabinets for the other wall. It was impossible with the windows. Probably someone's gonna be like, you could have used the walls that didn't have any windows for the cabinets and like counters and whatnot, and just make the dining room side at the end next to the door. And probably, and I thought about it, but I like complicating my life. So again, I go back and I continue working on the outside because, I remember, hey, I completely forgot about this. Go back outside and finish it. Try to fix it in editing and move it back, to the beginning. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue on this commentary because I'm having a good time. Finally. So I placed all the decoration on top of the cabinet, and then I had to place everything because the snotting is just not working for this kitchen. It is a very an odd shaped kitchen. I feel like I've been in this place before. I don't know if I'm just having a reminiscing or sort of nostalgic, moment maybe from the kitchen of the grandma that kind of raised me, basically. It just seemed very much like this. We just need a separate freezer for meats and whatnot. But everything else it was very much like this. There was a dining room area, but she had her little table and she had her counters, she had everything, and it just seemed very cluttered everywhere. Everything was kind of tightly placed, and it seemed very cluttered all over the place. That's kind of what I wanted to go with. And I also wanted to have wallpaper everywhere. I think that for the type of grandma that we're going for, it works way better than paint. I'm here struggling to make this work because I don't get why the fridge doesn't fit there. And it's because that corner counter is so separated from the wall. It's separate from the wall. And I also added some stains. I think it's very fitting. Now for the living room, I started with the curtains. The reason why I started with the curtains is because I always have a hard time choosing. I end up wasting so much time fighting the whole curtains thing. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start with the curtains and then I'm going to work around them so to make it work for me. And that's what I did. And I feel like this is a sort of grandma that grew up in the 60s, and she really loved the whole Victorian-esque type thing with the furniture and the wallpapers and the lighting, but she still managed to be very in this time, right? It have her tiny TV, and the couches are just the pattern, but they're not very Victorian-esque type couches. I don't know how to explain that. I hope that you can understand me. But yeah, and again, I'm carrying the whole plant thing to the inside. I imagine that someone that has so many plants outside, potted flowers and plants everywhere, they would definitely have a whole lot of plants inside everywhere, and maybe possibly very trained cats. At this point, I'm completely forgetting about the cats. I decorated that table beautifully. We have plants everywhere. It was very nice. It was a little reading corner. And then later on, I'm like, hey, wait, she has cats. Where are they gonna go? And I remembered again that they needed a corner. So you will see that change later on. Okay, so I also decided to have this little table here, little trinkets and things. I feel like grandmas will have very random tables everywhere, just covered in things, just decorated to the max. I wish that we had way more pictures in game, not having to use, once we finally get pictures while playing, be able to have them everywhere, but just have more decorative pictures to add as clutter, not just for the walls in the paintings and drawing side of it. So here I am remembering about the cats and the fact that they needed to have their corner, and I also wanted to have so many other things for them. Ended up deleting the table because it was was easier. I feel like adding a lot of things for the cats would just look like someone actually lives here. And I really didn't know what to do with the litter box. I think that's really what made me eventually leave the table, because I couldn't do anything. There was no way to have it anywhere else that was not in that same corner playpen playground thing for the cats. So that's why what I ended up doing. Now for the bedroom, I think that I thought about my grandma, the type of patterns that she liked, the color schemes that she liked. She very much like this, like neutral, but still add some maybe blues, sometimes some red to it. That was kind of her vibe, and everything was very floral and just nice like that. I wish that I had made more stories, because I would have been able to include the picture of her deceased husband, of the granny that we're going to be adding to this safe. Dottie, her name is Dottie Parker. I really wish that I had made her husband, so that I would like have him in that picture frame already, but unfortunately I didn't. And I gave her the reading slash knitting nook that I wanted to do in the living room. I just did it in the bedroom because it just made more sense. And giving her some, some puzzles or games, it makes sense in the great scheme of things, because she doesn't have a gaming table. She just has the knitting, which is, it's fine. I guess she goes to the neighbor to play some games with the kids every now and then, but she has a lot of her knitting things. I think that she just makes so much. You see that once we place her in the house, she has just this beautiful personality. She's a retired teacher, and her cats are just adorable. She goes anywhere in the house and those cats are right there with her. It is the cutest freaking thing ever. So I left enough space for them to be everywhere. There's one that likes to sleep on that rug next to her bed, and the other two, there's a tiny kitten and there's an elderly cat. They are just freaking adorable. If you haven't seen the short, welcome Dottie Parker, you will actually get to meet them there. I know that I uploaded it not so long before this one, because I am struggling with the uploads. I really want to do this, but it's really hard, especially the whole voiceover thing. So as you can see, I am struggling with the litter box. I don't know what to do with it. I decided to just go with the bathroom, forget about the litter box for a moment, go with the bathroom and finish it, and then find a place for the litter box. So for a moment I really wanted the bathroom to be pink, and I really tried, but with the rugs and wallpaper and decorations, it was just so much better to just have it a different color, just so that I could have like matching metals everywhere. It's really hard to match certain things. Like, it's hard to match certain woods, it's hard to match certain metals, but I really wanted in this case to be kind of similar at least. So I changed the tub and I changed the entire accent colors to blue. And I also used this lamp from the high school path. I really like that lamp. These plants, those actually do disappear, by the way. For some reason, I go back eventually to play test it, and when I load back into the lot, they're not there. Those are the only ones that disappeared. I checked everything else. I had a sim plant something in the garden planters. I had a sim cook outside in that grill right there. Everything worked perfectly fine. Those actual what were they, the inside planters, those are the ones that are not functional, and on top of not being functional, the plants can actually disappear. I don't know if when I uploaded them in the gallery they were actually looking fine, so hopefully they are still there. And lastly, I just added some missing details outside, like the wash tub with a chair next to it, some more planters, a table, and the grill, just so that she can have more things to do around the house. Like I mentioned before, on the left side of the house she would spend more time, and she actually likes to be there just so that she can talk to the kids while they're playing in the yard and whatnot. She looks over and just watches them while mom is doing anything else. So here's a quick tour of the house. So we have the front porch with all the plants that she takes care of, the entrance of the house, and the cat's corner. They take up a lot of space. The living room with her knitting things, dining or little table, dining table, and the kitchen. Now out to the bathroom, and this is completely functional too. And the bedroom. So this house is uploaded in the gallery at Lilium Sims, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys later. Bye everybody.